Alright, so in this video, just quick, it's going to be a real quick one. I'm going to talk just a little bit about my my table saw setup and a couple of the upgrades that I've done to it. This is the Ridgid R4512 table saw, which you can get at Home Depot. A couple of the things we'll talk about real quick that I've done. Come down here. I've installed a couple of little hooks under here for like my insert plates and the tools, the wrenches and stuff. Now the wrenches have a spot over here where they can be stored, but it's a real pain in the butt to undo that every time to get these out when I want to change the blade. So I just put a little hook under here, and I actually just did it with some like super glue, you know, the CA glue. Another thing I've done is I've installed a little shelf down here for the router stuff and just some extra little tools. So it's just really a shelf that I've bolted on that I can store stuff in. All right, and up top you can see this area here is normally blank. I've installed a router table, and this Bosch router table, and I'll link to it in the description, fit absolutely perfect in here. And so when I did that, it seemed to me that it was sagging a little bit on this side. So one of the first things I did was install this little leg down here. Right, so this little leg helps support the extra weight from the router. Okay. Also, the first thing I did was, you can see this is the back fence here. It's got this T-slot in it, which you can't really see because I've got it covered up, but it's got a T-slot in here. Actually, I could probably pull this off. There we go. Okay. So you can see it's got a T-slot in here. And what I did was I took a piece of aluminum extrusion, the T-slot stuff, and I bolted it all the way down, all the way across. So what that gave me is a bigger area of aluminum to bolt things onto. So I bolted this 2x4 onto it, put some hinges on for my outfeed table. Also, that gave me a good area to bolt this leg, which actually has an adjustable foot at the bottom. So if I need to adjust that up or down, I can do that depending on if I move the table saw. That's the way I use that T-slot. I also, you can see inside of there, the bolt that I used to help support this router table underneath. All right, so the outfeed table, you have to have a big block like this, because if you can see down where the table saw arm is attaching onto this beam, you got to have a little bit of clearance between this and the outfeed table. So I use a big 2x4 here, so that gives me enough clearance space. And then when you raise this up, you can see it's going to be have some room. So give me a second, let me raise this thing up real quick. I got it raised up, so now you can see how there's this gap between here and here. Plenty of room for the table saw slide to get in there. So if underneath we can see that my 2x4 is bolted, screwed to that aluminum extrusion, and then I just used regular door hinges. You can see these legs just fold down, they fold underneath, and then when I want to fold them up, I just fold them up inside of here, and they tuck away nice. All right, so that's pretty much it for my table saw. Like I said, this is going to be a quickie, and that's a quickie. Oh, the only other thing I did was zero clearance insert. And this guy I actually made mostly on the CNC machine. I downloaded a plan for the CNC machine, cut it out on the CNC machine, and it fits perfectly in there. So I guess you got to have one of these, but when I do like dado work, I still use the other insert, or I'll probably make a few more of these with wider for different with dados. But all right, that's it. Quickie.